Greetings, Summoners! Welcome to the first episode of the Challenger Spotlight, where we document the rising stars of the off-Broadway of League of Legends. Today on the show, we have none other than the team that just took down the North American Challenger Series and earned the first auto-promotion into the LCS. Enemy eSports. How you doing, guys?
What up?
Good. Cold in Canada.
Yeah, I feel you. It just rained cats and dogs here in Kentucky. If we had done this
It's
interview about an hour earlier, it had been deafening outside.
it's like about to snow where I'm
Oh,
at.
nice.
Yeah.
Hope you don't lose connection during this interview. All right, so how about you guys introduce yourselves and talk a little about your responsibilities on the team? Lazy?
Hi, I'm Lazy. I'm the coach of Enemy eSports. Been working with the guys for, I don't know, since like September about. I started as an analyst and I just transitioned to a coach. It's been pretty good so far.
All right.
And I'm that one guy, the mid laner.
Oh yeah, that one
I'm
guy.
supposed to like win and have an impact on the game, stuff like that.
Well,
And
you certainly
yeah.
have. So, okay, one question just for personal curiosity. Is it Innox or is it Inno?
Innox.
Okay,
But I have a lot of people
Innox.
that call me Inno.
all right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
We
X is supposed to be silent in a whole bunch of languages. So I was
yeah.
like, huh. He's from Canada, so it's sort of near that area that speaks French.
Near.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's start off a little bit about how you joined Enemy and who approached you. Who were you one of the founding team members?
Um, I joined about 3 months in when Enemy initially didn't succeed in their Challenger Series little
Mhm.
go that they had. And Angel contacted me as soon as I announced that I was switching to mid lane and not re-signing with Evil Geniuses. And
Mhm.
he's like, "Hey, we worked together in the past. Like, I'd love to work together with you again. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. Like, I want you on my team." And I was like, "Whoa." Actually, I won't go that route. But yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Lazy? You get scouted the same way?
No. Not as famous as Innox was. I don't know. Angel had the thing up that was looking for analysts, and I just applied, got it, and then the coaches that we had, or the coach that we had, just kind of fell through, and then the next one did as well, and the next one did as well, and I just knew the team so well at that point that I just kind of stepped up, or they asked me to step up, and then we've been like this ever since,
The only one with staying power. Yeah.
I guess.
Ah. So, what was it like working before you had in between those stretches where you didn't have a coach? Is it how much does the coach impact practices and all that, Inox?
Um, See, I didn't go through a lot of the time period where like we didn't have a coach or they didn't have a coach
Hmm.
on Enemy. Like there was a small bit where I joined and we were like doing coach tryouts for about maybe a week, half a week before Brad stepped into being the coach when I joined.
Hmm.
And there was a pretty huge difference in practice, just being like, okay, we're gonna go into the scrim and like we're gonna like we want to play this comp. Analyst says we should try to work on this stuff, but then having the coach be like, no, you guys need to think about things more yourself. Like you need to do this stuff more, and then you get a lot more engaged and like really you think about the game a lot more in the scrims rather than just going on that like autopilot. I'm gonna do these things. This is the game plan, stuff like that.
Hmm.
A lot more in control, I guess.
Good. So you were on Evil Geniuses back in it was season three, right? Season two.
Uh,
Um,
I don't
but that was before Riot. It all blends together, doesn't it? That was before Riot really started like emphasizing the role of coaches. So not many teams actually had one. Did you have one on Evil Geniuses?
know. Kind of the similar story of what Brad did. We had an analyst that
Mm.
worked to fulfill the role of a coach, and then our role of analyst, we kind of tried to pick up another person for, and we didn't end up doing that. So what we did was we kind of like mixed it in with the members. We had like me and Crepo or
Hmm.
Mitch, whichever. I'll
Yeah.
probably call them both. And then it was like me, Crepo, and then our analyst Quinlan, or analyst coach Quinlan, like trying to fulfill the two roles, split amongst the three of us. And it actually worked out pretty well once we got things sorted. And you really notice a difference when you like start trying to fill out those roles.
All right. So what's it been like for you, Lazy, starting to get recognition as, of this sort of front of the scenes? I get to go up on stage and help with Pickman.
I don't know. I haven't really noticed too much, to be honest. I guess if that happens, it'll happen more once we're in the LCS and we start winning, and then maybe we'll get more. I don't know. Being up on stage is kind of weird because there's lots of things you can trip on.
Gotta have proper
Yeah,
chord
it's
management,
not the-
guys. Come on.
It's not the smoothest of things.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I'm gonna look dumb. Just fall on stage.
So you guys have a gaming house now, correct?
We've
Okay.
had one for
You've
the
had one.
Challenger split.
Yeah, okay. So what was it like working before you had that, and what was the change in your scheduling and your practice? How'd you improve there?
I don't really know because actually, as long as enemies, because I guess enemy did a team way back when, but like as far as the resurgence came, we've always had a gaming house.
Hmm.
We've had some people not in the house, and it's definitely harder to schedule things when somebody's not in the house. When everybody's in the house, like everybody who's in the house, it's really easy. The schedule is fine. But like for the first iteration, for example, we had people not in the house, and it was really hard to schedule with them. Like they would just sometimes they wouldn't even show up. It was weird.
Hmm.
One thing I have to say about that whole thing is like doing replay analysis with not everyone in a house together is like next to impossible.
Yep.
Like it's probably just not
Yup.
gonna happen ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's one thing we weren't able to do much.
All right. And so, had you guys lived outside your family environment before that? Did you have, roommates, college, and all that, or was this a new experience for you getting out?
Well, Innox has been on EG, so he's been
Right.
doing it. And then I was actually not at the house at all at the split. I was up at school.
Hmm.
And so I was just doing it all remotely. And so I haven't actually been in the house yet for as far as scrims. I came down for a week, so I did it for like 2 days. But otherwise, I haven't really been there for scrims, like living in the house. So we've all lived on our own before, though. So I think that's a big boon for us.
All right.
Prior to my gaming house experience on EG though, I didn't really have anything. But I guess I did. Well, actually, no. I guess I can say I did travel around a lot from house to house because my parents were separated and my dad was always moving.
All right.
So I got used to playing in different environments. But playing on EG was the first time where it's like, okay, I have no family here. I kind of have to like figure out what I'm gonna do and become family with the people that are here.
Yeah.
Yep. And so now, this is for Innox for when he started on with Evil Geniuses, but for Lazy when he started on with Enemy. When did it all start to feel real for you guys? The oh my god, I'm going to be paid to play and or analyze video games.
Go first.
Um, it happened like multiple times. Like first, it was like a few days after we initially won. Like when we got when we 3-0'd against TBD,
Hmm.
and then like throughout the split, like doing stuff like doing all the fan meets or like winning. Like if you win a game or you whatever lose a game, doesn't matter. You go out and see your fans outside and like you do the autographs and everything. It's like such a surreal thing and like it's so just crazy to believe that that's all because like you're out here playing video games and like they just it's so awesome of them and it's like so awesome for you as well that you get to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about all for mine that I can think of.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to see people that are just like really into it. Like I'd say it first hit me when we 2-0'd TDK. in the Challenger Series and for our first matchups for the week. When we 2-0'd them, I honestly thought they were one of the stronger teams, so I was really happy to be able to 2-0 them, and then that just, I don't know, that made me like have a lot of confidence in our team, and we just could sweep the rest of the series. And then the finals are all also really cool. They told us we had the loudest like audience of any LCS team. It was
Yeah, no,
pretty
you
great.
guys were rivaling the TSM chants there for a while.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I think that helped a lot with our mentality on stage and morale as well.
All right. So you're the first team in North America to get the automatic promotion from the Challenger Series for winning. Is it comforting to not have to face down like the gatekeeper teams before having the opportunities to like scrim against LCS level teams on a regular basis and like play on that level?
To me, it probably wouldn't have been a big deal if every team that took first, second, and third would have gone to the relegation promotion. But then since there is the auto promotion, I don't know, just taking first either way was just like the main goal, and not taking first would have made me nervous in any situation.
Hmm.
Because say there wasn't auto promotion, and then we had to go against the 10th place team, it's still a lot more comforting than being like, okay, we took third, we have to go against the
Yeah,
8th place team.
yeah, the eighth place team, you know.
Even if there wasn't auto relegation, I feel like our chances were really, really good getting in.
All right.
That's based off of scrims. He's not just like
I know,
speaking out of
I'm sure.
confidence.
Yeah.
I see. That's
Being
the funny
cocky.
thing. That's the funny thing. I talked to another one of my friends who's the coach of ELG, and he's like, I can't tell you about scrims, but I can say we scrim people, and our scrims either go well or they go poorly. So
Our scrims go well.
yeah. So speaking of scrims, how often do you get to scrim with like the LCS teams?
I don't know. We can't probably say too much, but we get our fair
Couple
amount.
times a week.
I can get a fair
Yeah,
amount.
we get a
Yeah.
fair amount.
Fair amount. Okay. Was it hard initially, like getting them to take you seriously? Like, hey, we want to
Yes.
scrim you.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh. We're just a shitty challenger
Well,
team.
it was funny because we initially got offers to scrim like really good LCS teams, and we're like, well, we don't really feel comfortable taking these. We've been a team for like 2 weeks. I don't know if we should like accept these scrims, because if like we go into them and then we just play horribly and get stomped, they'll probably never want to scrim us again. And then we like waited till we like got better and more comfortable and like really worked on our synergy together. And then we're like, okay, yeah, we'd want to scrim now. And then they're like,
They
yeah,
don't
we don't
wanna
really want to
scrim.
scrim anymore. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh, jeez. Yep, sounds
And some-
rough.
Yeah. It was interesting.
So now, one thing I've heard mentioned before is that people think that the auto relegation is just sort of like, oh, well, they get in and they might still not be as good as LCS teams. Do you think that gives you more to prove?
Yeah. It makes our jobs easier. People have less of an expectation for us, and we can show off a lot better that way. Especially because I don't know, that image might change once they start seeing the other second and third place teams possibly get in, because I think they're good enough to get in.
Yeah. I'm certainly rooting for Fusion because I never really liked Dignitas at all, and they've been a little odd this split with their business decisions, in my opinion. But so Fusion and TDK were the only people to take games off of you guys in the Challenger Series. What do you think their chances are? Like you think they've got a really good shot at it, or
See, I actually want to hold back on commenting on this because I don't want to like shake anybody up going into it if they see this, because I know like I'm friends with a lot of people and then they ask me for my opinions, and a lot of people might not like the odds that I give, and I don't want to like tilt people going into it.
it's
It's
fair.
one of those situations where like I want both sides to win, but
On the one hand, you have your former teammate, and on the other, these guys are really good.
I don't know. It's For the TDK matchup with Winterfox, it could be really close. It all depends on how well Alex meshes with them, really.
That'll be interesting to see,
Yeah,
because
because it's a big wild card near the end.
yeah, especially with the language barrier.
Hmm And then Fusion Dignitas, I think Dignitas is very much underestimating challenger teams. And unless Shifter goes off, I'd say it's in Fusion's favor.
All right. And now on the subject of the team that was auto relegated, who shall not be named here, uh, in the in the EU LCS, both challenger teams ended up making it straight to the playoffs, and the Unicorns are still in it. They're playing in the final
Hmm
this weekend, and both of the challenger teams for North America did not so great. We had teammate. They locked in, I think, seventh place. Yeah, seventh place. So they dodged the relegation bullet, but they didn't get in the playoffs. And then of course we have Coast, who hit the bottom of the standings. What do you think the difference is between like the challenger scene here and the challenger scene in EU that makes these kind of teams?
Uh, I'd say it was probably just like the amount of talent that was available in the scene at the time. And yes, I think that there's talented players in both sides and like probably equal of talent. But then there's the question of like, okay, which talent meshes with each other well enough? And then you kind of like have to go out filling out rosters, and then you look at Coast, and oh wait, they're not supposed to be named. But you look you look
Whoops,
at
I
Coast,
screwed
and
up
then
already then.
they brought out they brought out talent from Europe, and then like all these teams are like looking and trying to grab talent, but you never know like who's gonna actually mesh well. Like when we grabbed Jonas or Trashy, and then him and I just like meshed well out of nowhere. Like this guy who doesn't even play mid lane switched to mid lane, and then this jungler from Europe that they've never really known each other before. And then we go into games and like, oh hey, we're actually like a really strong duo. So
That Danish synergy coming out.
yeah, I
All
think it's
those
really
Danish
just
junglers.
the talent and like who meshes with who at the time, rather than like a difference between strengths in the challenger scenes.
I'd also say it has a lot to do with like it's like he said, the talent pool was like kind of off because when you look at the teams that got in, they were expansion teams, teams that got in off the expansion tournament, and I feel like in North America, especially looking at like our team that we tried to throw together for that, it really was just a thrown together team. Like it
It
felt
was,
aside from
yeah.
Gravity, because Gravity was a more established team when they were back Team LOL Pro, I want to say.
I think they were
Curse Academy.
Curse
Yeah,
Academy,
Curse
that's
Academy.
what it was.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah,
bro.
my
Yeah,
bad.
come on. This is your job,
But,
man. You gotta know.
I feel like all the rest of them were just kind of thrown together last minute, and so any results that they have, aside from Gravity, because they were the only team together, like in Team Coast case, they were just kind of a random team, and I didn't expect them to do very far. And any team that got in on the expansion tourney, I didn't really expect too much out of them. It's good to see Gravity do as well as they did, though. I think in EU there were more established teams at the time that were able to go into that tournament and get in.
Yeah. Well, so let's see. What this is another EU versus NA thing is there's a common argument in like the management departments and like the community around like importing talent versus picking up new players out of your own region's solo queue. And as a team, you've done both. Like you've got an LCS veteran, you've got three people from North American solo queue, and you've got Trashy who came over from EU.
That one guy.
Yeah, that one guy. That
His
one
name's not
blobby.
important.
That one blobby god. Uh, so what's your opinion on just like importing talent in general? Like, do you prefer? Would you in your magical Christmas land? Would everyone be from the region that they're from?
It's really whatever to me. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I don't really care. I don't like some people get really worked up about it, but I mean, it's whatever. People can go where they want to go. Like there are rules set now in place, like the whole exempt and then two foreign people rule. Like I think it's fair.
I think it's
You
fair
can't
enough.
like say one person's like, man, I really really love America, or I really really love Europe. I want to move my career out there.
Yeah.
Because people, some people like growing up, they're like, oh, I want to travel and do these things, and then like they want to just like incorporate that into playing League of Legends. I don't think it's wrong to be like, yeah, you can do that.
Also because I feel like in each region has like their strengths when it comes to like talent pools. For I wouldn't say as much anymore, but still pretty good. EU had one of the best mid lanes for a couple seasons. Like their mid laners were just the best, and that was it. Like every other region's mid laners kind of like lacked in compared to them, but they were really weak in other areas.
That's why I got
So
that European last name.
There you go.
so like I feel like just because of that, it's nice to be able to get some people for positions. Like I feel like in North America, the biggest two roles that are lacking would be AD carry and jungle. And we picked up one of the best AD carries in North America, so we're good on that. And then jungle was just kind of he offered and he gave a big commitment to it, so we gave him a chance and it worked out.
All right. So you look at teams like Liquid, who who Piglet joins, and then they have language barrier problems. I mean, you look at the LPL too. Right now, they have a lot of like Koreans and Chinese, and where not many people on the same team are speaking the same language. How much do you personally as a team value the ability to communicate?
Pretty highly.
I think in game, a lot of the times this isn't actually that big of a deal in game, like having experience with it. But I think outside of the game, it's huge. Like a lot of times you want to like get like that bonding time in with your teammates and like become like a closer as a team, so you can like work out problems easier. And you don't like sit there being like, I have a problem. Okay, let's fix it. Well, we can't. All right, I'm just gonna be upset over this problem. So I think language barrier is more important when it comes to outside of the game at the moment because of there's the things like there's smart pings or whatever. Like you can still get a lot of basic communication done in game with a language barrier. See like TSM, like with
Yeah.
Boy, like first Boy just like I'm sure he was just using like initial or like really basic terms like go or back off, and then just like the rest for pinging.
Yeah. So let's see. So now we're gonna move on, talk a little bit about the meta here, and one thing that I always saw and I thought was interesting when you guys played in the final, Kog'Maw drew a ban in all 4 games from TDK. Otter played it once, so is that an Innox solo queue target ban, or is Otter a secret Cog god?
I think it's probably a target ban on me because I actually was spamming AP Cog like heavily. Like there was one night where I just played like 10 AP Cogma games in a row, and then I was playing it in scrims as well. But like I really liked playing the Vic. I didn't expect them to ban it, but then after like in hindsight, looking at the tournament we played, I think it was a really good ban by them.
hmm It
There were
would have
multiple
countered their team
situations.
really hard.
There were multiple situations where it's like I would want to pick Cogma here, and I'm like, oh wait, it's banned.
Good old Kog'Maw. Either he's running the front line as the Juggermaw, or he's poking from the back with a freaking Luden's Echo.
Yep.
So on these like pocket picks, what is the like number one quality that you would look? What are the qualities that you look for when you're looking for a? Hey, I think this guy can go mid lane really well.
Um, if I get the right situation with that champion, can I 1v5 a game? Pretty much like that. It's like if I can
Alright.
pick Kog'Maw and get him to a situation where it's 30 minutes in, I'm like 3 items, or I can get to like 6 items, I know Kog'Maw's just gonna destroy because like it's so hard to deal with this poke if you pick him into the right situations. And a lot of times there's going to actually be nothing the other team can do.
All right.
Or actually just to add another one would be like the Katarina pick. A team goes for these power picks and then a lot of the time, sometimes they'll tunnel too hard on power picks and forget, oh, hey, we don't have CC because we went for like this power pick, stuff like that. Or hey, our team's actually a really squishy team comp. A Katarina would get really easy resets. And then that's just like a snowball effect of people going for these power picks that are like super meta. And they forget about those other picks that everyone kind of needs to remember.
So instead of going for like a power pick that you think counter the power picks, like, hey,
Yeah.
they don't know what they're doing, so
Yeah.
I'm
It's all about
gonna
like,
prey on that.
can I counter the power picks, and how heavy of a counter, like how big will the effect be from that?
That's one thing I always loved playing in really crappy low elo solo queue, but it was mid lane Darius, just because people were like, I don't respect the level 2 damage from his Q ignite. Like, wee! I guess, that would be a champion you could 1v5 on. Maybe see some Innox solo
Hey,
queue mid lane
hey, what that
Darius.
buff just got?
Yeah, he's got a full reset now, and he's got mana refund. I mean, come on, guys, let's do it.
The mana refund is huge.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's pretty big.
Write this down.
Yeah, right.
Alright, one sec.
You heard him, Brad. You're running a scrim later.
Just wait, someone's gonna pick like
Darius mid.
Zed or Diana or something. Here it comes.
Just go
Here
Darius
comes.
mid. No mobility champion.
So now a lot of people talked up like your Nidalee pick, your Nidalee play. You're famous for that, and you only played it in the one game, and it was pretty obvious you probably didn't want Nidalee in that game.
Yeah, it was a mess
Yeah.
up on our draft.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, but you pulled out the Cassadin and then just steamrolled.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying when they turned his Rift Walk into a Rift Step that he was trash, garbage, gone. What made you keep faith?
His damage was never touched, and in fact, well, I guess it was touched in the fact that it was buffed.
Mm-hmm.
Like out of those changes, he actually got more damage, and like the fact that he still has high mobility, and then his damage was like a huge issue before. I don't know how, because his numbers like are kind of confusing. How he puts out
It
so
never
much
looks
damage,
like
but-
it's going to do as much damage as it does, but then you Rift
Yeah.
Walk QE and someone's dead.
Yeah, well, I mean, you compare him to like Annie, and you're like, well, Annie's combo should be doing like so much more damage. Yet when I see that Cassadin QE me, I'm like scared for my life because it goes half my health bar.
So weird. It makes no sense.
So speaking of like these high mobility mid laners that you play now, the absolute highest deaths in a game you had this split was 5, and that was game 2 of TDK where you were on the Nidalee.
Yeah.
And
It
the
was-
other games you were like deathless or like sub 3 deaths. Are you the next unkillable god faker, or is there some kind of like hyper emphasis on mobility?
Pretty much, I love mobility, and like those champions I can be annoying on. Yeah, like I just got really comfortable on being annoying and like abusing that to the point where it's like I'm so annoying, and I'm gonna play safe so you can't kill me. I'm only gonna go for like these free trades that you're like, because other people constantly look for like kill pressure. Say when I play Kog'Maw, and I'll sit just at that edge where they can't get me, and I'll just sit there and I'll just be as annoying as possible.
Innox likes bullying people.
And not confirmed for cyberbullying, e-stalking, CLG find.
That's what I love with the Kog'Maw matchup and Kog'Maw Urgot. You just like
Yeah.
get so much range on them that it's just like, ha, you can't get me. I'm just gonna sit here and poke at you to death.
It was fun for me personally watching the rise of the God out of like literally the most like only Teemo would be more useless in competitive play, or even then
Yeah.
I bust out the Teemo and suddenly Teemo's okay. No.
Oh,
But
there was the
then-
one Teemo ambush game.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh,
Years
that
ago,
was so sick.
It was amazing. I want to play Teemo.
Yeah, but then suddenly someone in Korea and someone in China play Urgot, and everyone goes, "Wait a minute, that's what his passive does? Hold on, you're telling me it's got a mini exhaust?"
See, I personally always knew Urgot was strong because I played on a team with the Yellow Feet. That guy's like the god at Urgot. Like he was the OG.
The
Urgot.
OG original Urgot god.
Yeah. So like playing with him and then seeing Urgot was getting that buff, and then like we like sat there and were like, how much of a buff is that to his W actually? And it's like, wait, he's gonna be that tanky now. Like
Insane.
that much more tanky. Like holy.
I mean, and then this, meta where people are running like double AD comps that got super popular. You can just build a Frozen Heart on Urgot, and he doesn't care. Like, hey, what's up? I'm
Yeah,
tanky.
and the game kind of fell into a spot where it's like mid-game spikes will like control the game, and Urgot's like one of the best champions when it comes to mid-game spikes. Like he gets the Muramana and the Last Whisper or Black Cleaver, and he'll E you, and then just land 3 Qs, and you're either gonna die or have to base immediately.
It's ridiculous.
That and he gets like the level 11 ult range where you can just like flash ult from the screen away.
Yeah. Speaking of the suicide ult, which was just everyone thought, oh, what an awful useless ult. It puts you in the middle of the enemy team. So what's the secret? How do you use the ult?
Usually just actually one thing I do when I play Urgot is when I ult, I look for opportunities where my ult will get cancelled. Because if it gets cancelled, you don't trade places with them, but you still get the armor and MR buff, which is what you really want the ultimate for.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
you set yourself up for failure. In doing so, succeed.
Yeah, well, people always think like, oh, if I just like stop his ult or like I'll outplay him, like, and then they go into the situation. You're like, no, I actually wanted you to stop my ult. Thanks.
It's like,
Now I'm not
haha.
gonna take like
So
now I'm not gonna
tanky.
take like that tower shot I would have taken in this trade maybe, because you stopped my ult. Now I can just sit here and beat on you.
It's the king of the bullying and the mind games. Enemy Innox. See, it's in his name. He's the enemy.
Enemy. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, that team I'm on. So, speaking of, not that. Hold on. We're going to This Week in Challenger. We've discussed the Dignitas has chosen the Fusion. They've chosen, and Winterfox has chosen TDK. So, what is the thing I want to talk about specifically is Alex Itch and his substituting. He subbed along with two of his other teammates on TDK before in the season, and
Was it two?
yeah, I think it was RF Legendary and
Oh, I thought it was only
It might have been. It might have been just But they subbed in for TDK for a couple games, and now they're going to be subbing in for the promotion match. Now, do you think that this is like an ethical move by the organization to do this, knowing that Alex Itch is probably going back to his team on Misfits, and like you're getting into the if you win because of Alex Itch, did you really deserve to be promoted?
Well,
I don't think they care.
well, there's the whole thing
Obviously,
about,
it's for the we want to win and have the money, but
Yeah.
there's the whole thing about subbing him in, but then looking at the situation, it's like, well, Kyle quit.
Hmm. Also, they got as far as they did, like without them. Like aside from the 1 week where they had a pretty good matchup anyway.
Yeah, they did take second in the whole
Yeah.
season. So
okay.
They still get a lot of credit.
I
Subbing
think
Alex
that-
Itch is just nice for them since they need somebody.
yeah, and he's just like one of those available mid laners that opened up like as of recent. It's like, okay, we have a good substitute. Should anything bad happen, we can feel comfortable. And they added him to the sub list, so I don't think it'll be a big deal if they use him or not.
Yeah.
Because he was there in the first place.
Yeah, he was already a sub. There's also a sub on Team 8, which I think is interesting. That you can be subs on multiple teams as long as
Is
they're
he
not
still
in the
a
same.
sub on?
According to the info page, I don't know. I don't have the
That
insider
thing's
scoop.
usually outdated,
Yeah,
but
probably.
I don't know.
Probably.
I think you might be able to be a sub on an LCS and a challenger team. But
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, there's no like poaching rules for LCS and Challenger team. So
unfortunately.
yeah, that seems like a giant glaring issue that probably needs to be fixed.
They're working on it, they said, but they just haven't figured anything out yet.
So I mean, there's been a lot of hype around Alex Ich this season. He went from just being that guy who played on Moscow 5 and was really good to, oh, it's Alex Ich the legend. He's come to North America to roll face and take teams. What what is your experience with what people are calling like the mercenary mid laner?
I'm a Gambit fanboy, so I don't know.
I don't know. To me, it was like I looked up to him like so much on Gambit, and then he came to North America, and it's like, holy, that's so cool. I can like play games with them. And then I, a lot of people make the argument like he's not in his prime anymore, but he's been practicing pretty hard, and I think he's gotten quite a bit better from the challengers since he had in Europe. And I think he's gonna fall into place of being a top tier challenger mid.
I didn't really like his top lane, but I think his mid lane's still really good from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of the top to mid transition, how is that something that you came to Innox?
Um, I
He
when I
hates tanks.
well no when I first played League, like got into competitive, I was like always wanting to play mid lane. But the first team I joined, I played AD carry on, and then I was eventually playing AD carry, AD carry. Then I finally got out of AD carry and got to go to like a team offer where I'd play mid, and that lasted for about 2 weeks before it was like, oh crap, we need a top laner. There's no top laners in the scene available. What are we gonna do? And then I kind of like took the dive and I was like, okay, I'll play top lane, I guess. I'll sub in for it and then like go back to mid soon. Then I started playing top lane, like subbing in for people and then playing it on teams, and then had a few like runs trying to get into LCS or whatever, and then qualified with a new team to get to go to playoffs or not playoffs, promotion slash relegation, where actually EG was gonna be, and that's when I got the offer. It was like, oh hey, do you want to play top lane for us? It was like, I can play top lane for EG. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be here, but I guess yeah, I'll play top. Yeah, sure. So it top lane never really was the role that I was supposed to be in. Like my whole time playing League, I was trying to play mid lane, and like all these things kept happening where it's like, well, my opportunity is to go AD carry or top. I guess I'll take these opportunities, but I still want mid. And then coming into this season, I saw it as the perfect opportunity to take that switch.
No.
And
You've
I
performed
mean, it's
incredibly
working out
well on it so far, so how do you see yourself, matching up against like these you know, world class mid laners like Bjergsen, High, you get now Keen's come out of nowhere and is really big.
Keen and I are really similar players. I'll say that.
Oh yeah,
But
you both
this
are big proponents of the Ear God.
basically coming out of like solo queue playing against them and scrims playing against them, not like all of them, but against like a
Right.
few of the top tier mid laners in LCS, I think I'll fare pretty well, judging that I don't like choke on stage. But I don't know. It's weird being on stage playing as a mid laner because it's like a whole new experience. Like top lane, I didn't interact with the team as much as I do now. And it was like I kind of fulfilled like an entirely, well, obviously an entirely different role being top lane mid. But I mean, even like when it comes to communication, it was like an entirely different thing. And so long as I can keep everything up and I don't choke on stage, I think I'll do pretty well and be one of the top tier mid laners as well.
All right, well, here's hoping. One thing you mentioned in your statement there was that it's hard to get a top laner in North America. This is something I've heard before from a couple of my friends who are coaches, and it's like, what do you think is the problem with finding a top laner in North
Too
America?
many people want to do what's fun rather than what's strong. I mean, I fell into that category.
Yep, they want to carry.
Yeah.
So you get, so you get all these like challenger, Riven top mains or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Box.
just stuff like that. But then,
You're
then,
very on
like,
point.
look at Gravity. And when I was first like looking at the challenger scene, I saw Hanser and I was like, Hanser's the best top laner in the challenger scene. Because every game, he'd just go on Maokai and he'd be like so consistent. And consistency is like what you need in these kind of games from the top laner. And then, I mean, look what they are now, or look where they are now. Like Gravity's doing pretty well, and
Yeah.
Hunter's up there too.
Yeah. So that's a lesson for all you challengers out there. Stop playing Riven. Stop playing other. Get on the Maokai. Get on the good stuff. The consistent tanks.
You hear that, Flares?
You see that, Blaze?
Yeah, put that Hecarim away.
No, keep
No,
Hecarim.
you can keep the Hecarim, but every game he's like, "Can I play Riven?"
Yeah. He loves Riven, man. I wish he was more viable in the top lane. I'd let him play it.
Yeah.
Someday they'll like
Someday.
buff her shield or something like a little
Make
bit,
her
and then
into
it'll
a
just be.
tank.
Well, I mean, if they fix lanes, like, if they find a way to like deal with lane swaps better, then Riven can maybe come out.
Yeah, I don't see Riven doing very well in a lane swap
Yeah.
at all. Oh god.
Especially with like the TP smite thing. Like, you try to lane swap, Riven will like get back to lane against the other top laner. Other top laner will have like Juggernaut, and she'll maybe have like a Tiamat.
Yeah.
That Juggernaut and Skirmisher is going to completely destroy her in a 1v1. Sadly. So.
As a former top laner, do you have any opinions on the whole like teleport smite thing? Do you think it's like really really good, or it's a trade off, or
I think it's broken.
you think it's broken?
I played it in solo queue, like, cause I usually fail when I go into solo queue.
Hmm.
If another person's like, oh, I need mid, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And I played a few TP Smite games, and like, holy, the amount of gold you get over other people is crazy. I had like 4 items when everyone else was like, were almost on their second, and like I wasn't fed. All I was doing is just farming. So yeah, it's pretty crazy the amount of gold you make.
I'm wondering if we'll see a balance out of Riot, because that was one thing back when Maokai started building the Spirit of the Ancient Golem top lane just because he's there. I'm
Yeah,
wondering
I
if
think-
we'll see Cinderhulk get.
I think they'll probably do that because I'm assuming they probably have the mindset of like Smite is
Jungler only.
supposed to be a jungle thing. Well, actually, I don't know about Smite, but more so, jungle items are meant to be jungle
Yeah.
items.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Something
Like,
they
everyone-
always change.
Everyone used to do the Spectral Wraith Ziggs mid.
Or
like-
the Elder
yeah,
Lizard
that.
Ezreal.
Yeah, the Elder
Yeah.
Lizard Ezreal too. Yeah, good old blue build Ezreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll probably nerf it. I don't know if they'll do it before LCS or not. They have enough time though, so
Yeah.
we may see it before then.
I'd probably say they're probably going to do something about it in like 5.9. Like, we're already sort of looking at like 8, so it's probably
Yeah.
like 9 or 10. They'll do something
I'm just
to
hoping they do it before LCS so we don't have to learn it.
it. So
Because that was one thing we didn't have enough time to practice going into the finals versus TDK, which really showed because they had it down and it was
Yeah.
really
yeah,
strong.
yeah, Seraph has been spamming that. Yeah,
Mhm.
Seraph.
I'm
I keep
surprised.
wanting to call him Shifter, but I'm like, no, that's not Shifter.
I'm surprised Flares matched so well up against it because, like, when I played it, I was like, holy, like, there's no way my lane opponent can do anything about this.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Skirmishes is
Flares,
ridiculous.
yeah, Flares played really well, so.
So, with that, we're going to move to our next segment of Power Picks. Lazy. Who's strong?
So many people. The meta is so open right now. I love it. Like there's always a champion that can come out of nowhere right now. This is really nice. Like
Right.
if you can find the right situation for it, yeah, almost any champion can be viable if you can figure it out.
I know what Brad wants. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, the meta is kind of like you can scale up and make it to late game. You know, you usually get like some wave cleared mid. You know, those big team fight mages. He wants an Nivea.
bring
I'm
out
an
the
Nivea
frog
main.
Nivea.
I am an Nivea main.
Yeah, he's played an Nivea since early season 1.
Yep.
I was watching the Alpha Draft League last night, and someone was like hovering Nivea for like, oh, that'd be so good. The wall for disengage. They've just got like Sivir. They just run at you. No, just put the wall out. It'd be great. It'd be great,
Yeah.
guys.
I don't know. I really like Nivea. I think that I don't think she's the best in this meta though.
Hmm.
Aww.
Shut up. You don't
A
want to play her.
sad day. A sad day for
Well,
the ice chicken.
it's
Innox,
yeah.
who are you gonna bring out? Who's our next mid? Curious.
Uh, I don't know. I usually work on like 2 cheese picks a week, but
Oh,
I've been on break. Maybe
you've met your cheese quota for now.
yeah. I don't know. Nidalee is still good, but she's more of a situational pick. Um,
Her power went down a bit.
I don't know. Cassidon just got those crazy buffs. Like that ultimate buff he just got. I played him in solo queue, and the score was like 0 to 20. Like my team was feeding so hard, and I wasn't even fed. And then I
Just
ended up
like I'm
getting
gonna
like
get
a
my
20.
rod, and I'm gonna get my voice laugh, and I'm just go.
Yeah, I
dead.
just started playing team fights like normally. It's like, well, they have like a 15,000 gold advantage, and I was like, well, you know, whatever. I'll buy him a Jazz just for fun. I got to 20 stacks and like almost carried the game.
Almost. Cute.
Like,
Almost.
Yeah, almost.
Almost.
It was my warm up game, so.
Oh, there you go.
was
There's a
pretty
warm up
off.
game. There's a warm up. He's off his
I
game,
actually,
boys.
I actually had the wrong runes. I was running attack damage and attack speed, and like I was
God, I
running
hate
against
when
the
that
Diana,
happens.
and I didn't have MR.
He's trying to out trade with autos. You know?
It was so brutal.
Just play AD cast at that point. See, you got a gap close. Just bam, auto attacks. Auto attack reset.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh my
tried
God.
making that work. It doesn't work.
I played 80 Cassidon in a normal game the other day, and I got like Muramana, Trinity Force, Frozen Heart, or whatever. I'd like go in, and if I crit with that Trinity Force, I would one shot people.
Brutal.
So ridiculous.
All right, you heard it here. Innox, he's singing the praises of AD Cassidon.
He did that, man.
I mean, that's where I pulled the AP Kog'Maw out. I spam normal games. I don't know, AD Cassidon in normals. Maybe I'll bring it out.
Yeah, you guys should ban it.
Yeah,
definitely,
no,
but
We have
definitely
an AP
ban.
version. Never mind. Just ban the AD version.
Just ban the item Triforce. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I don't know. I think Udyr and Volibear might make a comeback in this meta if all the like Sedge and Gragas keep getting banned out. I think they may make a comeback, or even if Sedge stays, I think they may make a comeback. Just because they're good into comps that have to dive into you.
Yeah, Unicorns has been seeing a lot of success with the Orianna Udyr combo, where you
Mm-hmm.
just put the ball on Udyr, and it's like I don't want to go fight that Udyr. He's gonna ball on him. I'm gonna
But
get shockwaved if I go fight that.
It was really good there because they kept picking it into teams where they knew the other team was going to run engage comp. So Udyr really sucks at chasing people. Like it's his worst quality. But if they're coming into you, then you don't have to do that, and then it's good. And since they knew they were doing that, that's why they kept going for Udyr. At least that's my opinion on why they did it, because it works really well where they have to come into you. Orianna speed up's pretty good too.
Yeah, shield, speed up, threat of
I want
giant
to shake up.
nuke, the Shaco.
Shaco.
Oh, the Shaco. Good old Kiki's making solo queue hell for everyone for the next 2 weeks. And again,
In
you're guilty of
season
that
one.
too, and yeah.
In season 1,
That's it.
whenever I had to jungle, Shaco was my go-to. I love that guy.
I think my power pick just has to be Kog'Maw because, I mean, whether
AP?
he's AP Kog'Maw poking the crap out of you mid or he's the Juggernaut running at your face, he's terrifying.
He just scales so well.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know, my team. I play with a bunch of my friends from high school, and we're bronze 1, but we played Juggernaut the other night, and we were like, why is this game so easy? We didn't even need positioning. It was just like throw everything on the Kog'Maw, and then he
Yeah,
wins
but-
the game for us.
They'll like try to run at him, try to kill him, and the Kog'Maw's just like sitting there spamming dance in between his autos.
It's an auto attack reset. Dancing. OP. So, for the last segment of the show, we have our pro tips, and this is where we tell low elo scrubs like me how to play the game. So,
Don't chase Singed.
Yeah, don't chase
chase
Singed.
it.
Because everybody plays Senge, right?
Hey man, he got that. He got that upgrade on his fling. Does max health
Dude, that's
damage
actually
now.
really nice against tanks. Not gonna lie.
I'm waiting for Darius to bring it out. He keeps hovering it. I want it.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to see Darius use it. Dude, that'd be something players would love. Can you imagine him giggling while running out away from people?
Oh, I can't
I
wait to
love
see you guys in all chat if that happens. Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, there's probably gonna be some good all chats from players especially. I love players.
I'm usually
It's
just
funny.
sitting there making puns until someone notices me.
oh,
Poor guy.
I get, more so because I'm being ignored.
oh, poor Innox.
They don't like
No
the
one pays
puns, man.
attention to him.
No, that's because I annoy them so much.
Then it's karma.
But I agree, poor Innox.
You would. All right. Well, that brings us to our closing segment. The Facebook and Twitter of Enemy Esports will be after the video.
We didn't really give any tips.
Well, Doge's change is pretty good, but hey, you want to give the tip? Give the real tip?
Honestly, most of the tips, like the actual tips, are kind of stuff people have heard before.
Right,
And
it's for the low elo players, so watch out when you're picking meta picks, and just play
Yeah.
what you think is strong. Because a lot of the times, if you play what you think is strong, you'll do better on what you're comfortable compared to like some random pick. And then a lot of the time, say you grab that strong meta pick in solo queue or something like that, and then say the other person plays like a counter to that it's like completely random counter, but they love it, and you're in that uncomfortable situation, you're probably gonna lose that game.
Darius mid against everyone.
Yeah, if you can do something that you know works and people don't expect it, you can get a lot of free wins off of that, or at least free lanes your team might feed. But it's like some of the most important things are just like things you've heard before, where it's like you don't care about your team since you can't really do anything about them. I mean, everybody's heard that, but it's really important, honestly. Like, I didn't improve till I started doing that.
Everyone flames me in solo queue when I'm playing on my Smurfs and they don't know who I am, and they're like, "Why are you picking Kog'Maw mid? Why are you doing this?" I'm just like, "Hi,
I'm just like, shh, it's okay. I'm a pro.
just let it happen."
Let it happen. Yeah. So you guys, the general consensus is champion mastery over meta picks. Play what you're good at. Play what you think is strong.
Play what you have fun with.
Play what you have. There you go. Play what you have fun with.
Watch out for the
League of Legends is a game. Oh, heresy! I think I see the pitchforks and torches outside my window right now.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Don't call it a game.
It's just
It's a way
serious.
of life.
You're
Serious
tilting me.
business.
Oh shoot.
You're tilting me. We're all tilted.
Yeah.
Wish I could work the
If I
camera
had
better
that-
so I could just tilt everything. Just
Yeah, if I had mine on, I'd do that right now. But it's actually tilted right now.
tilted. See, I'm tilted. All right, there we go. Tilting.
Oh, we're good.
All right.
What's going on?
All right. Well, that's all from us here at the Challenger Spotlight. Thank you for watching.